What's up, everybody? Circus here. This is usually the part of the video where I have a funny little clip to start it out with, but today it's a disclaimer. We're doing a video where we're recommending to spend money on the game. This isn't something we normally do, but people have been asking for this video. So if you are free to play, this is not the video for you. If you are going to spend money on the game, just know that you have to assume the risk yourself. Okay, we're going to make recommendations, but it's ultimately up to you to whether or not to spend the money. So if you watch this video and you don't agree with us, don't spend the money on the game. All right, so here we go. Check it out, and I hope you like the video. What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with this month's How to Start Your Dolphin Account video. And you might be asking, Circus, what is a dolphin? Well, a dolphin is someone that doesn't mind spending a little money on the game each month. Now, on one end, you have the free-to-play players. They don't want to spend any money on the game. And then on the other end, you have the whales. They love spending money on the game. And then the dolphins are just kind of fall in between. They'll spend a little money on the game, but not go too crazy. And how much that amount is really is up to you. But I would say $20 a month would put you in that dolphin category. And that's kind of what we had in mind when we came up with how to structure this video and what decks we'd recommend. So keeping that in mind, we're going to jump into the shop here and get started. So where we're going to go is we're going to go into the structure deck section of the shop, and we're going to start with Tales of the Noble Knights. Now, this is one of my favorite decks right now. It's really fun to play, and I highly recommend it. It did well in the Casey Cup. It does well in tournaments. That being said, this deck is probably going to get hit by the next ban list in the next 2 weeks. Now, you might be like, ban list, I'm not going to buy it. Now, the ban list is probably just going to tap it a little bit because that's what we see. This is a very new deck. It's very hot. It's selling very well. So the last thing Konami wants to do is make it so people stop buying this deck. So they're just going to put maybe a few cards on the semi-limit list, just slow the deck down a little bit, but it's still going to be a really good deck for a very long time to come. All right. So keeping that in mind, you have two options here, right, to buy this deck. And now, before we actually start buying the deck, I just want to note that with structure decks, either you want to get 0 or 3. There's really no in between, okay? There's going to be a lot of people that say, dude, you can get one Noble Knight structure deck and do just fine. That might be true down in bronze and silver and gold and things like that. But if you want to be able to get King of Games, if you want to be able to play in terms with this deck, you're going to want to get 3, okay? Because a lot of these cards in here, you need 3 of to make the deck function properly. So remember, 0 or 3. Now, you have two options, right? You can buy one deck with gems for 1,000 gems. I do not recommend that. I would recommend just hanging on to those gems for when you have to get other cards to supplement this deck. And then you have the option to just pay the cash. I would pay the cash. It's about $20 US plus tax. So it's like $21, $22. It's not a whole lot. So I would recommend going that route. Okay, so everything you need for the most part is in this structure deck, and we'll go over the things that we need to add to it in a minute here. But the major core of the deck is here. You got the Merlins. You need 3 of these. You need 3 of the Madrat. You're gonna need 3 of the Boars. You need 3 of the Glory. 3 of the Arf is really hot right now. So that's why we recommend at 3 instead of 1. Okay, these are all cards that you need 3 of to make the deck function. Now, all the stuff that you have in here is going to work great in the deck, but we still need a few more cards to make this deck really great. So we're going to go into the boxes over here. We're going to go into Infinite Ray. Now, in this box are a few cards that we need to make the deck even better. And the first one we need right here is the Sacred Noble Knight of King Custodin. You want 2 of these, all right? Some people play with only 1. If you only get 1 right away and you run out of gems, that's fine. You'll find that you might want a second one that is just kind of like better in the mid to late game. Like if your first one gets taken out, you can bring out a second one. It can help you win the game. But if you only get 1 right away, that's fine. Don't stress. Just save up and get a second one when you can, okay? And then there's 2 other cards that are mandatory also. You have to have a Brothers, that's down here. And then you need 1 Gwynnifer, all right? So you just need 1 of these, 1 of these, and then 2 of these is ideal, but if you only get 1 right away, that's fine. You can use your gems here if you want, or you can wait till there's really good sales, like this one here, 10 packs plus 1 SR. Just watch the sales. You'll see which ones are better than other ones. Like this one, you could get 10 packs. If you do it right away, you might in the 10 packs get a custom in, and then you're guaranteed SR SR could be a custom in, or that could not happen at all. You just never know. You might get lucky for $6. It's just how much money do you want to spend on the game. Also in this box, this is going to be a win more card that you're going to put in your extra deck. So if you are going through the box and you get one Gaia, that's great. If you don't get it, don't stress, but it is a good extra deck card. And we'll show you that when we take a look at the deck. So we're going to do that right now. So give me a second to get that set up, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so what we have here is kind of a very standard Noble Knight deck list. Okay, so as you can see, we got the Noble, we got the Madrats here, the Dristan, the Merlin, the Boars. These are all from the structure deck. Now remember, we got the Brothers and Gwen from the box. Remember, Infinite Ray, and then all the spells we got from the structure deck. And then this trap here, this also comes in the structure deck. Now, a lot of people theorize this is going to be one of the cards that get hit. So instead of being able to play 3, maybe only play 2. And then same thing with the Karma Cut here. This might be limited to 2. So you wouldn't be able to play these in the deck at the same time, or you just have to play one of each, or that's all to be determined. So you might see this and say, Circus, I just started the account. I don't have all these. These are kind of ideal, but you don't have to run the deck exactly like this, all right? So if you just started the account, you're going to have an SR Dream Ticket. You can just completely use one on the Karma Cut and be just fine. I recommend it. You're not going to feel bad doing it, but only get 2 of these, okay? Because this is more than likely going to be on the next ban list, all right? So the Karma Cut, I would just get 2 just to be safe. If it somehow survives the next ban list, then you can get your 3rd, but I would just get 2 for now, okay? And then the Raigeki Break, you're going to have a UR Dream Ticket, but I wouldn't use it on this just because the Raigeki Break is in a mini box, okay? And that's kind of easy to get. It's a lot easier to get than something in a main box. You kind of want to save those UR Dream Tickets for main boxes. But let's say you don't have those. I mean, you can kind of work around with what you have. You can maybe, let's say you just have the 2 Karma Cut and these 3 traps. I mean, then maybe you snipe a Raigeki Break. So then you can play like, you know, 6 traps here, and then just pad these out if you have to get to 30 cards. You just want to have a balanced version of the deck. I mean, this isn't ideal, but if this is all you have and you're just starting your account, this will be fine until you can get other cards, okay? Because we're using balance as our skill, so any character that you have that has balance, that's what you're going to use. So basically, you want to have like here we have what, 12 monsters, 12 traps or spells, and then 6 traps. That will work. Or you can have more traps and less spells. It's just you have to have a certain balance, right? It has to be a certain ratio. So as you get more traps, you know, you can take these out and have it look something more like this, and then you can start putting more traps back in, you know, maybe something like that. And then like we had before, maybe you have some ultimate providences laying around, just anything that will fit in here that'll help the balance of the deck until you can build towards something that's more ideal like this. Okay, so if you don't have these right away, don't worry about it. Just use what you have and just make sure your ratios are correct so that balance will activate at the beginning of the duel. Now, the extra deck, these right here are going to be in the structure deck. So these are great. You need these. And then this was from the box. Remember, we got these from that one box, Infinite Ray. And then we got the Gaia. That's also in that box. Okay, that's more of a win more card. It's situational, but if you get one along the way, great. If you don't, we can just take that out. Same for this one right here, number 70, Malevolent Sin. It's in the latest box, Photon of Galaxy mini box. What's great about this is it's really easy to get. There's a lot of really good XZs monsters in here, and this is one of them. So if you can get, you know, any of these XZs monsters here at the top, plus an Abyss Dweller, I mean, it's great. The Malevolent Sin gets used in this deck because it's great. Just gives the deck a little bit more maybe like OTK potential. But let's say you don't have the money, you don't have the gems. You can just take that out. You can take that out. I mean, it's not ideal, but you could do something like this. You know, and just throw any other XZ's monster you have in there to round out your deck. Again, it's not ideal at first, but eventually you want your deck to look something like this. This is a current build. The builds change a lot, so just keep that in mind, all right? So work towards a build like this until the build changes, which they always do, but this is a good starting point. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's Noble Knights, and now we're going to take a look at the other structure deck, and that's going to be Blue Eyes. So give me a second to get that set up. Okay, so we're back in the shop here, and we're going to go to the structure deck section, and we're going to go to the Blue Eyes Evolution. So this is the Blue Eyes route. This is a little bit more anime friendly, right? Again, you can get the decks with cold hard cash, and that's how I would recommend doing it. There's also the gem option, but I would just skip over that, okay? So right here, there's a lot of cards in this deck that are just great. This is a great value because Blue Eyes used to be very spread out all over the place. Now it's kind of condensed so that you can get a lot of the core cards for around 20 bucks. All right, so we're gonna get 3 of the White Stone. You're gonna get a Spirit. You're gonna get the cards of Consonance. These are all important. You're gonna get this one right here, the Azure Silver Eyes, and then you're gonna get the Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, Ultimate Providence we can use in the deck, and then after that we're gonna go into a box. Okay, so I'll show you that right now. So we're gonna get 3 of this structure deck. Remember, 3 or 0. Okay, so we're gonna go in there, and then we're gonna come over here and go into Judgment Force. Now there are a couple cards in here that are very core to the deck that you're gonna need. And the first one is the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. A lot of decks play this at 2. I have seen some playing it at 1. It just depends on how your luck is when you're going for another card in this box. So if you get 1, that's fine. 2 is better, way better, but you can get away with 1. And the other one is the Sage with Eyes of Blue. You need 3 of these. So it just all depends on how lucky you get getting these. Because you might just get 1 of these when you get 3 of these. But you might get 2 of these when you get 3 of these. But you definitely need 3 of this. And you need 2 of these, okay? 1 to 2 of these. I've seen other builds where people will use this card just because they have it. I don't know how well that works out for them, but I would say, remember, 1 to 2 of these, and then 3 of these. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the deck, and then we'll go over it real quick. All right, so here's the deck here, and now this isn't like the most optimal version of the deck, and I'll explain why here in a second. It's just I don't play Blue Eyes a lot, so I didn't really take the time to get all the necessary cards, all right? But we'll go over them real quick here. So this is a login bonus card you get just by logging into the game. This is just a gift from Konami, so there you go. You're welcome. And then remember, we got these from the structure deck. We got this from the structure deck. And then this was, remember, we got this from the Judgment Force box. We got that along with the Synchro down here in the extra deck. Now this is kind of a win more card. A lot of decks run it and then a lot of decks don't. So it's going to come down to personal preference. It's in a separate box though. Okay, it's in Stardust Acceleration. So I would say hold off maybe right away on getting it and then see if you need it or if you want it. Okay, because not every deck runs it. Some decks do. It's like a 50-50. All right. Now these are going to be from tickets. Don't use your UR Dream tickets on them, okay? Just use your standard ranked duel tickets on them and you'll be just fine. Now this also right here came from the structure deck, and then these are also just tickets. These aren't optimal, but you can fill your deck out with these, okay? And then here's the Karma Cuts. Again, you can use your SR Dream ticket on it, and I'd feel just fine recommending it because it's a great card. Remember, you only want 2 of these because we're not sure if it's going to get semi-limited or not, which means you can only play 2 in your deck, all right? And then the Ultimate Providence right here. This also comes in the structure deck. So down here, this came in the structure deck also here. And then remember, we got 2 of these out of the box, 1 to 2 of these. And then we got this out of the structure deck. Now the Vermilion Dragon Mech, this is an important card, but if you don't have it right away, that's fine. But this makes the deck infinitely better because it allows you to do a lot of different plays. So I would recommend getting one of these. But if you don't have it right away, you can play the deck without it. It just won't be as impactful, okay? So this is in the Blazing Rose box. And I do believe, yes, it is a UR, so you're going to have to dig for it. It's right here. But you do need 1 of those, okay? So keep that in mind. So going back to the deck and looking at it here, we also have these XZs. Now, these are more win more cards, whereas Vermilion Dragon Mech, you can almost say it's like a very core synchro to the deck. These XZs, they seem like win more cards, and not every deck runs them, and not every deck runs both of them. So this is something maybe long term you can put in there. If you don't have them, don't worry about them. But this is the Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. Yes, that's actually his name. You can get that in Infinite Race, so you might be lucky and get that if you were playing Noble Knights, hint, hint. And then number 46, Dragulon, Dragulon. And that's in the selection box, so good luck getting that. So those are definitely some win more cards, all right? So going back to the core of the deck, one thing I'm missing here is the Melody of Awakening Dragon. Now that is under standard Kaiba, the Unmoody, the Uncybernetic one. You come over here into DM World and you go to Kaiba. And this is a level 45 reward. This is a very important card, and it's going to take you a very long time to get it. But it's worth it 100%. I don't have the gumption to sit here and try to get the level 45 Melody of Awakened Dragon reward, but it is a core card. It just makes things great because it has great synergy with the deck. I highly recommend getting this card. This is a very important card to get, okay? So keep that in mind. And then we'll go back over and look at the Moody DSOD Kaiba, the one where he's fusing himself with machines. And you're going to use this skill, Ultimate Dragons. That's kind of the accepted skill right now. You can also use Alternative Evolution, but most people are using the Ultimate Dragons, okay? So you want to replace probably one of these Ancient Rules. Take that out, put it in the Melody of Awakening Dragon. You could just, if you don't want to play Ancient Rules, you could just play more discard traps, something like this. I mean, it's whatever you really have. I would say look around, see what people are playing, see what they recommend, because let's say you don't have this. You know, you could put that melody in there. Maybe you decide to play an Ancient Rules instead. Let's make room for that Melody of Awakening Dragon. You put that in there, and maybe your deck looks like that. I mean, there's no perfect deck, and no one card's not going to make or break you. The Melody of Awakening Dragon actually might be that card. Actually, you definitely want that card in here. But if you're playing 2 Ultimate Providence instead of 3, or something like that, it's not going to break the deck is what I'm trying to get at. So if you basically play something similar to this, you'll be fine. And then as the deck changes, you can change with it further down the road. And that's really what it comes down to. Once you get the core of the deck, you'll be fine. And you can kind of adjust things as you go. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit better idea of how to get a start in the game. If you're a Dolphin player and you don't mind spending a little bit of money on the deck. So remember, Noble Knights is great, and Blue Eyes is great. Just watch out for the ban list that's coming up in a couple of weeks, but I think both these decks are going to survive intact and be just fine. That's why we have no problem recommending them. So I'm going to get out of here, but what you need to do is get in our Discord, because that's where we have all of our tournaments, which are free. The Discord is free. The new player help is free. So make sure to check all that stuff out, all right? So I'm going to get out of here. I'm Circus, and I'll see you next time.